Now let's cross live to Professor Zhang Linqi from Tsinghua University. He's the team leader in developing this newly approved treatment against the COVID in China. Thank you very much for joining us, Professor. We appreciate your hard work indeed. But first, help our global audience understand how this antibody cocktail treatment works.
Hi, good morning. Nice to be here. The antibodies works by blocking virus entry into the target cell. Virus have to get into the cell to produce its progenies and then making its offsprings. Antibody blocking the virus entry that will block its replication and also blocks the downstream damage that will cause to our human body. In fact, antibody is a natural product, a protein made by our immune system, specifically called B cells. Once we are infected by coronavirus, we will produce many antibodies, but not every single antibody has a strong antiviral activity. So over the last year or so, our team at Tsinghua University and at Shenzhen #3 People's Hospital has isolated hundreds and thousands antibodies and pick the best among the best. So the two antibodies we use can recognize different regions of the spike protein, improving its potency, blocking viral entry, and also cover wide range of variants. That's how antibody works in saving patients' lives.
And Professor, tell us more about the officially approved efficacy reports on this new treatment. Can it work against the Omicron variant?
So every single drugs, including antibodies, before they are approved for clinical use or before approval for market application, have to go through a very thorough, strict clinical studies. The clinical studies conducted here in China and in multiple countries in the world have shown it could cut the hospitalization and the deaths by 80%. So this number is extremely impressive, given the different individuals and different ethnic groups, as well as the different variants circulating in the world. So based on a thorough evaluation, we are certain this combination of antibodies are effective against alpha, beta, gamma, delta variants. The Omicron variants, initial data show it has the binding and neutralizing activity, but the further confirmation need to be carried out before we could have a very firm conclusion.
Now, this is a drug, correct me if I'm wrong, Professor, this is a treatment mainly focusing on COVID patients, but since it's an antibody, could it be applied in more preemptive scenarios?
Yes, the current approved usage in China is for mild and moderate, but with high likelihood to develop severe diseases. The antibody's property in particular is the potency, breadth, and durability has a potential use for prevention purposes. The similar type of antibodies has already been approved in the US for both treatments and prevention purpose. So the next step that we are going to explore is to test its efficacy in preventing the infections. So hopefully in the near future, the antibody could be used here in China.
Professor, is it safe to minors, for example, children under the age of 12?
We have not tested the efficacy and safety in children younger than 12. That's the next step thing that we need to do.
Also, Professor, we know this is a global pandemic. So what do you make of the significance of this treatment you developed to the global fight?
Yes, all the treatment-directed medical interventions like antibody drugs and small molecule drugs will complement substantially to our vaccine efforts. It will provide a very strong support for our current pandemic controls and the treatments. So in the future, ideal situation, we would expect to have vaccines with very high safety efficacy, at the same time have a treatment medical intervention enhanced, so we could play out those strengths in both prevention purposes as well as the treatment purposes. So combination of these procedures and solutions will provide the best immune protection to the entire human population.
Thank you very much, Professor. Really appreciate your hard work. Professor Zhang Linqi from Tsinghua University in Beijing.